today for our Friday, our Feel Good Friday. I'm feeling very proud of myself today. I've been umming and ahhing. I am terribly, terribly indecisive, really indecisive. I'm a Libra, and I am a typical Libra. And I've been umming and ahhing about booking a cookery course. Peter's coming in. Learning how to cook for retreats, which is something I've toyed with a friend of mine who's, everyone's coming in, who's got a retreat space in southern Spain, which is just finished. And I've been umming and ahhing and shall I, shan't I? And I finally booked it. I did it this morning. I got my Airbnb sorted, and it reminded me of a lovely quote, one of my favourite quotes by the French novelist Anaïs Nin, who said, "Your world contracts or expands according to your courage." So I hope I inspire you. If there's something you've been longing to do or umming and ahhing to do, today is the day. Today's the day to do it after you've done your yoga. So we're going to have a nice gentle practice today. Some of you did a variation of this on Wednesday. It was International Women's Day on Monday. It's Mothering Sunday on Sunday. So I thought I would use this to honour the feminine gents in the room. Please don't worry. So we're going to be working on the kind of feminine yin energy today. So a little slower, perfect for a Friday. I'm going to start lying down today. If you want your props to hand, just have them nearby. As you ease your way down, we're going to keep the feet on the floor to begin with. I'm just going to interlace the hands before we come to lie down. We'll get there in a minute. Interlace your hands behind your head. You can free up your thumbs if you want and just have them down the sides of your neck. And just have a little crane of your head, maybe a little gentle turn of the head from side to side, just supporting the whole weight of the head in your hands there, so the neck gets a little bit of a rest. And then tuck your chin in towards your chest. And imagine very gently you want to pull your hands away from you. So you're elongating the neck, little gentle upward tug. Try and keep that length through your neck now, as you very tenderly place the back of your head down on your mat. And if instantly you feel your chin is being thrown uncomfortably up towards the ceiling, now's the time to pop a cushion or a blanket just underneath your neck there, underneath your head there, so your neck is free. So head centrally placed, and just press into your feet and lift your hips, maybe an inch or so off the floor. So feet, knees, hip width apart. And just try and relax your glutes, relax your bottom. And then like a little hammock, just have a swing of your hips from side to side. So we're trying to release all the muscles around the lower back here. So your glutes, your buttocks instantly want to kind of switch on. So just let them go really loose. So the bottom is just literally just skimming the floor. Have a little swing of that hammock from side to side. And then when you're ready, just lift the bottom a little higher so you can tuck your tailbone under. Imagine you want to curl your tailbone towards your face. And keep that little tuck now as you release your hips down onto the floor, letting the tailbone lengthen away from you. Lovely. You might want to walk your feet a little bit wider apart and allow your inner knees to rest against each other. Or you can stretch one leg and then the other leg out. It's entirely up to you this morning. Legs outstretched or knees bent. And the arms gently down alongside you this morning with your palms up towards the ceiling. You might want to just lift your chest so you can snuggle your shoulder blades a little bit more firmly down your back and toward one another. I'm just going to come up to seated so I can talk to you. So starting off feeling really comfortable on this Friday morning, another week gone, ready for the weekend. Maybe the first week you've had to yourselves after all of that homeschooling, so maybe you're feeling a little bit depleted after all of that hard work that you've been doing. So use this practice this morning to rejuvenate, time to yourselves to really re-energize after a busy week for some. So if you're comfortable this morning, let's just close the eyes, gently closing them so the eyes aren't all scrunched up. We're releasing the muscles around the eyes. And just begin to welcome in now that journey inward on this Friday morning. So as we honour the feminine energy this morning, the feminine energy is said to be cooling and associated with the moon, as opposed to that more masculine yang energy, which is said to be much stronger and associated with the sun. It's a solar energy. And we need both. We need to know when we need that little bit of a push, that resolve to move forwards, just like I had to do this morning. Give myself a kick to do something, but equally we know when to drop out of that, shift out of doing mode and welcome this way of being. Time to rejuvenate. So at the beginning of our practice, let's simply just begin to notice the journey of your breath flowing in and out of your body this morning. So no need to interfere with that, no need to change the rhythm or the pace, just noticing how it is right here, right now. As you begin to breathe in, let your body just begin to settle into that space, and using that exhale to begin to relax into the floor, the mat beneath you, welcoming the support this morning. And as you settle into that space, maybe you can begin to gently lengthen each breath, slowing down the inhale before you gently release the exhale. If you want to part the lips and softly sigh the breath out, go ahead and do that on your own or just with your partners, so there's no one else to hear you. And sometimes that can feel really nice if you've had a particularly stressful week. I quite often use that audible breath if I can feel I've just had a busy or maybe a stressful week. Just allowing the face to soften, the jaw to relax. Softening the shoulders, muscles in the neck. And if you have been carrying responsibilities or burdens this week, just begin to imagine them gliding off the side of the shoulders, allowing your upper back to completely release, letting go, softening towards the ground. There might be parts of your body that you can feel are still gripping or holding, and never worrying about that. It can take a good few minutes before those kind of knots or nadis, as they're called in yoga, these kind of pockets of tension that build up around the body. It can take a good while before those habitual areas begin to release. So rather than worrying about them, just again accepting. I'm going to start just with a very simple pranayama, just to bring us into that balance of energies, the masculine and the feminine. So your right hand, you're going to place on your right ribs. So take the elbow out nice and wide so it can rest on the floor. The right hand just resting on your right rib cage. The right side of the body associated with that masculine, solar, strong energy. So visualize your right nostril, your right lung. And on your next inhale, visualize that breath coming in through the right nostril, all the way down to the right lung. You might feel your right hand move outwards a little bit. And then exhale, the breath leaves the body through the right nostril. So we'll do 4 more breaths like that, nice and slow and steady. So breathing into that right hand side, that masculine side of the body. And exhale, visualize the breath leaving through the right nostril. That masculine energy associated with its qualities such as resolve, strength, powering forwards, moving forwards, drive and stronger energy, sometimes called yang energy. So maybe this is your last one, breathing in all of that kind of sense of strength and resolve, and then exhaling, release that right hand down when you finished your 5th breath, palm up towards the ceiling. Just take a couple of breaths there, breathing in and out evenly through both nostrils, imagining both lungs receiving the breath on the inhale and then releasing the breath on the exhale. then we'll do the same thing for balance. This time, left hand on left rib cage. So again, just take the hand nice and wide so the elbow can rest comfortably on the floor there. And then again, visualize your left nostril. And we'll take 5 rounds of breath, breathing into the left side of the body. Left side of the body associated with the female yin, softer, cooling lunar energy. Qualities such as kindness, compassion, empathy, perhaps associated with that softer side. So as we focus on this particular energy throughout the practice this morning, really kind of showing yourself a little bit of compassion and kindness this morning, letting things be really easy, maybe just backing off your edge. Just taking a couple more breaths through that left side of the body. It's good for us not to push our bodies as far as they'll go every time we hit the mat. It's good to move, but equally it's good just to know when to release, when to soften. And when you've taken your 5th breath through the left side, both arms down alongside you, palms up towards the ceiling. Just take a couple of steadying breaths there through both nostrils. And throughout the day, your body will change the dominant nostrils. Sometimes you'll breathe through the right, sometimes you'll breathe through the left. Interchanges throughout the day. Lovely. Let's begin to wiggle the fingers. And then take a couple of turns through the wrist. Let's keep the fingers moving. So just begin to mobilize with some gentle movement now. A few circles one way, and then take the wrist around the opposite way. And then turning the palms down towards the floor. We'll walk the feet in now. So the feet are hip width apart, knees point up towards the ceiling there. Big breath in as you float both arms all the way back above the head. Back of the hands might find the floor. Keeping moving now as you exhale, bring the arms all the way back down. Fingers nice and spread as you bring the palms to the floor. Inhale all the way up. Really beginning to deepen and lengthen the breath now. Using that breath to energize your practice. Exhale, release. You can do that a couple more times. And if you want to add a little shoulder bridge here now, so pressing into the feet, lift the hips. Let's keep it nice and low this morning. Bring the chest up towards your chin, and then see if you can marry that movement, hip and hands, touching down as you exhale. Let's do just once more. So inhale, a little tuck of the tailbone under. If you just want to move the arms, feel free. And then we'll come all the way back down. Keep the bottom on the floor this time as we reach both arms all the way up and back. I'm going to keep them there now. Arms extended, so if your shoulders feel tight today, you can have a little cactus of the arms, or take the arms out to a nice wide V as we stretch out one leg and then the other. Coming into a lovely full body stretch. You might want to arch the back a little bit as you turn the ankles and the wrists. Little movement one way, it'll wiggle through the feet and then take them around the opposite way. Lovely. And then point the toes, reach back through the fingertips. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, scoop the right knee in towards your chest. We're going to pause, holding either behind or in front of the knee. Just checking that the chin is still tucked in, neck nice and long. Slide the shoulders away from the ears, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring the nose towards the knee. Getting a nice stretch through the upper back. Chin stays tucked in, elbows hugged in tight to the sides of the body. Left heel on the floor. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, lower the head, lower the shoulders. We'll keep that right knee where it is. And we'll start to circle the right knee. So you might just use your right hand. You can use both hands as you just take the knee round in a few circles one way. Just mobilizing into the hip this morning. And then take it round the opposite way. If you don't want to circle, you can always just open and close the knee if that's more comfortable on the hip joints. Beautiful. And then we'll bring the knee to stillness, hugging it in and down, and then trying to angle that right knee down towards your outer ribs. So you want to bring your knee towards your armpit. Keep pressing into that left heel so the toes stay pointed up towards the ceiling on that left side. Now you can stay here this morning. I like to bring my left hand onto the top of my left hip, just to keep myself from rolling onto the right. Or you can come into a half happy baby, lifting head and shoulders, holding the inner or outer edge of your right foot with your right hand, lowering the head, lowering the shoulders, and it's as though you want to stomp your foot on the ceiling there. So your right ankle is stacked on top of your right knee, and you're gently pulling the knee down, down, down towards the right side of your ribs, towards your armpit there. If that's too much, just keep that knee hugged in and slightly angled out on the diagonal. Take a couple of breaths there. Noticing if you're kind of shifting your weight into your right buttock. Keep the weight even across the back. Lovely. And then slowly, whatever we're doing, we'll bring that right knee to the chest, give it a little hug as you slide your left heel in towards you, knee points up towards the ceiling. Let's hold around the back of the right leg and we'll take that leg up towards the ceiling now. Hands low down to your bottom for support, and we'll start to point and flex the right foot, opening the front and the back of the ankle. Keep it nice and slow. You might synchronize that with your breath. Lovely. And then we'll keep the foot flexed, toes pull down towards the face as you just begin to press the back of your leg against your hands, and your hands press back. A little bit of resistance there to fire up through the back of the leg. Beautiful. We'll bend the knee and hook your right ankle over your left knee, coming into a little reclined pigeon. Right hand, gently press the right knee away from you. So a little bit of openness and space in the top of the hip. Now, I like to rock here, shift the weight gently from buttock to buttock. If that's not for you and you want to keep still this morning, then feel free to do that. Or you can have a little play, a little rock. It's only a small movement. Lovely. And if anyone wants to come into a full reclined pigeon, now's the time to do it. Coming to stillness, bringing the legs towards you, lifting up head and shoulders as you thread your hands between the legs, holding around the back of the left thigh. Relax the left heel to your bottom as you bring the head and shoulders back down to the mat. Now again, for a funny reason, I find a little rock side to side quite soothing. And it also stretches my hip a little bit, which I get very tight in. So you can have a play, you can keep still, you can try that little rock. Whatever works for you. And then whatever we're doing, we'll come to stillness, releasing that left foot to the floor if you were in a full pigeon, as I was. And then we'll cross right knee completely above your left knee, so legs across quite tightly. We'll bring the arms out, level with the shoulders. Just lift up that left heel so you're on the tiptoes of that left foot. And we'll drop the knees over to the left. Let's have a little think there. Over to the left. Lovely, looking over that right shoulder. It really doesn't matter if you've taken the knees the other way, just get a different sense of strength. Lovely. Let's slowly come all the way back through center, uncross everything, coming back to that full body stretch. So slide the legs away, reach the arms back. And this time you might want to flex your feet, interlace the hands and push the palms away from you. So you're getting a little stretch through the back of the body. We'll take an inhale. And then as you exhale, left knee comes in and down, just as we did on the other side. So stretching out through the right foot as you give that knee a little squeeze. Lovely. Then we'll take an inhale, exhaling, sliding shoulders away from ears, lifting nose towards that left knee, trying to keep the right foot on the floor, toes up towards the ceiling. If you don't want to lift the head, lift the shoulders, just keep the knee squeezed in this morning. Right, stretch through the upper back. We'll take one more inhale and exhale. Lower the head, lower the shoulders. And we'll start those little movements or circles with your left knee. So you might just use your left hand and bring your right hand to your hip. And again, if you don't want to circle, change direction if you're doing those circles. If you don't want to circle, you can just open and close the knee a little bit. Just getting into the hip. Lovely. And then knee coming to chest. And then take that left knee down towards your left armpit. So you're angling that knee very gently out towards the left. And the right foot wants to do all sorts of funny things there, or at least mine does. So I'm having to work quite hard to press into the heel and keep the toes up towards the ceiling. Option for a half happy baby. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, left hand to inside or outside of your foot. Lower the head. And as you do so, we take the sole of that left foot as though we want to imprint it on the ceiling. And then we draw down with the hands. So we're drawing that left knee down towards your outer ribs. Again, trying not to roll too much weight into that left buttock. So keep pressing into that left, up into that right heel. A couple of breaths there. If that's too much for you too soon, then just give that knee a little squeeze, angling it out towards the left side of the body. Lovely. And then we'll all come back to center, releasing the foot if you're in happy baby, knee to chest. Slide that right foot in, heel close to your bottom. We'll hold on around the back of the left leg this time and take the leg up towards the ceiling. Just check in that your shoulders haven't shot up towards your ears And your face is still soft. Relax your jaw as you point and flex the foot there. Oh, one side might feel a bit stiffer. This side feels stiffer today. Lovely. And then we'll keep the foot flexed. And again, you begin to press your leg against your hands and your hands press back. So there's a little bit of resistance there. It's opening up through the back of the knee. Lovely. And then keeping the knee bent, the foot flexed, sorry, we'll bend the knee and bring your left ankle just onto your right knee there. Opening the left knee to the side, left hand comes to your inner knee or thigh, easing it away from you. And if you want that little soothing shift of the weight from side to side, little rock across the buttocks there, feel free. I just find those kind of rhythmical movements quite soothing, so my hips get quite tight. So if your hips get tight, it kind of just takes the heat off that full expression of the pose, a little bit of movement there. If you want to join me in a full pigeon, feel free. So we lift head and shoulders, bring the legs towards you, hands feed between the legs, holding around the back of your right thigh this time. Try to relax that right lower leg completely and focus on pressing the left knee away from you. And again, you might want that little rock. If you want to continue that little rhythmical movement, feel free. Just find it increases the stretch as well a little bit, but have a play. Lovely. And then we'll come to stillness, releasing the right foot to the floor. We'll cross your left leg over your right leg. So if you can, crossing above the knee, squeezing the thighs together, arms at level with the shoulders. Just come onto the ball of that right foot and tip the knees over to the left. To the right, sorry, beg your pardon. Getting my navigationally challenged today. Drop the knees to the right, heads to the left. If you have gone to the right, it really doesn't matter. You just get a different stretch. It's all good. It's all good. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. Uncross the legs. Give both knees a little squeeze. And then with one hand on each knee, take the legs round in a circle. So if you want to keep the knees together, feel free. If you want to open up the hips a little bit, you could try almost taking the knees out in opposite directions, like you're doing a breaststroke. That's quite a nice one to release the back as well, because you get a little bit of arching and flattening of the back. Whatever you're doing, take the knees round in opposite directions. Beautiful. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest, keeping the big toes touching or at least pointing towards one another. We'll separate the knees and then slide your hands down towards your ankles. So they might just rest on the top of your shins. Some of you might lift your head and shoulders, bring your hands almost the tops of your feet, and then bring your head down. And we're trying to bring your heels towards your bottom and keep the knees nice and wide. And at the same time, try and flatten and lengthen your lower back in towards your mat. I always think about this as like butter melting into hot toast. So relax all of those muscles in your lower back. It's a really lovely lower back stretch. Some of you might find your bottoms are quite high off the floor. That's okay. Just working with whatever you've got this morning. Just try and visualize those muscles relaxing. That's why I like to use that hot toast and butter idea. That doesn't make you too hungry. One more breath there. Lovely. And then crossing one ankle over the other, holding on behind the knees. Just use a bit of momentum to rock up and down a couple of times, space permitting and back permitting, until you come up to a seated position. If you want to pop your blocks or your cushions underneath your bottom, feel free. Just to elevate your hips and drop your pelvis forwards. I'm going to sit cross-legged if that's available. If you want to stretch your legs out, feel free. Lovely. So sitting up nice and tall, interlace the hands, push the palms up towards the ceiling there. As you inhale, feel the shoulders draw up towards your ears. And as you exhale, arms stay where they are, but just soften your shoulders. You might even need to bend your elbows a little bit. And then take a little bit of a wiggle there into the lower back, a little bit of shifting of the rib cage. Lovely, freeing up some space. And then coming to center, take an inhale. As you exhale, let's push the arms over to the right. Lovely, keeping the left sit bone grounded. Inhale to center. Exhaling over to the other side. So keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep stable through your sit bones. One more each way. Lifting up as you inhale. Little stretch as you push the palms away. Your elbows might stay soft. Lovely. We'll come all the way to center. Drop your chin to your chest so you can bring your hands behind your head. You might free up your thumbs and extend them down your neck. And then lifting your chin away from your chest, you might even take your gaze up towards the ceiling. So again, you're supporting the weight of your head in your hands. Elbows nice and wide, getting a nice stretch across the chest there. Take a nice breath in as you lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, just let the weight of your head drop into your hands. Lovely. So bringing the chin back so it's parallel to the floor. Reach the arms all the way up. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down onto your knees. And then we'll draw 3 big circles one way, moving the body round in a circle, gently pressing the knees down, getting some space in the hips. 3 big circles one way. And then 3 big circles the opposite way. So you're having a little roll around the base of your pelvis. Your chin might be leading the movement. Your chest might be leading the movement. Shoulders might be getting involved there. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back to center. Bringing the fingertips down to the floor in front of you. You're going to flex the feet so your toes point forwards. And from that position, begin to come into a forward fold. So with the feet flexed, we're not only protecting the knees and the ankles, we might feel a greater stretch across your outer hips there. And when you find, again, that kind of edge between your bottom is going to lift off the floor, you can feel that stretch. We pause, we keep grounded through the sit bones. We breathe. And if you want a little bit more, try tucking your chin in towards your chest so the tips of the ears and the crown of the head is pointing forwards. Elongate through the neck. We'll take one more round of breath here, breathing into the back and the sides of the body as you inhale, and just seeing if you can come down a little further as you exhale. Lovely. Walk the hands all the way back. Lovely. Lifting yourself up nice and tall. Gonna bring your knees up towards you. So just lift your knees. Crossing your right arm on top of your left arm will hold on to the knees. Lovely. Take an inhale as you draw the body forwards, maybe lift the chin. And as you exhale, push the knees into the hands and round the back, chin to chest, right arm on top. Inhale, so you bring the knees up towards you as you lift your chest, lift your chin. And then exhale, push the knees away from you into your hands as you round the back. Lovely. One more, little version of cat-cow. Nice stretch between the shoulder blades. And exhale, pause there, pushing the hands into your knees. Again, your hands are resisting. I can feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades. Lovely. And then letting go of your knees, sweep the arms in front of your face. So you're taking off a big jumper and then bring the hands down to the floor, just alongside you so you can lean into your hands, skip the knees, a little bounce as you stretch the legs out. And then recross them the opposite way. It might feel a little bit weird now. Lovely. So again, sitting cross-legged if you can. Beautiful. Interlacing the hands, push the palms up towards the ceiling. Soften the shoulders. Lovely. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, right hand comes down. Keep that left palm up as you stretch over to the side. A little bit stronger now. Lovely. Come all the way back to center, interlacing the hands. Inhale as you push the palms up. Exhale, left hand down, and the right palm stays pushing away from you. A little bit stronger. Lovely. Come all the way back through center, interlacing the hands. We're going to add on. Inhale, push the palms up. Exhale, take a twist to the right. Oh, really using the muscles of the back. Inhale to center. Exhale, twisting to the left. So it's not a big movement. Inhale to center. This time we'll come round to the right and release the hands. So your left hand might come to your knee or your thigh. Other hand snuggles behind your hip. Maybe turning the head if that's comfortable. Getting that sense of breathing some length into the spine. Lovely. Let's come back to center. Reinterlace the hands, push them up, take an inhale. Exhale, we'll twist to the left and then release the hands. Right hand coming across the body this time to your knee or your thigh. Other hand snuggle behind your hip bone. Making sure you're not leaning backwards. You're sitting up nice and proudly there, right on top of your sit bones. Beautiful. Now we've got that right hand conveniently on your left knee. So this time left hand on top as you bring your knees towards you. So we've got the left hand on top, hands just cupping your knees there. So as you inhale, the knees come towards you as you lift the chest. And as you exhale, you push the knees away from you as you round the back, so you drop the weight back a little bit. So inhale, rock the weight forwards on your sit bones. As you gently arch the back, you might lift your chest, lift your chin, and then exhale, pushing your hands, your knees into your hands as you round the back. Lovely, just once more, inhale. And exhale, beautiful. So letting the knees fall away from you as you sweep the arms all the way up in front of the face, and then bringing the hands all the way back down alongside you. We'll bring the hands down, stretch the legs out. You might give the knees a bounce, and then tuck your feet to one side so we can come round onto all fours. You might again want your props nearby. So we'll keep the hands under the shoulders. Keep the hands where they are, but see if you can begin to bring your hips towards your heels. So we're finding our way to a child pose, but we're doing it really mindfully. If your hips don't touch your heels, you can always pop a cushion or a couple of cushions between your bottom and your heels there. Start to have a little rock, a little shift of the weight from side to side, and keep that moving now as you start to walk one hand and then the other forward. So we're gently easing the body forwards, really rhythmically moving. Again, that softness, that quietness. And then when you come down to your child pose, some of you might even have the forehead on the floor, and you might just have a little rock or roll across your forehead there, just massaging the brow. And so when you find that stretch that works for you, not quite your edge, so again, we can comfortably allow the body to begin to release. We come to stillness, arms outstretched, hips to heels. And as you take a couple of really nice deep breaths here, imagine the breath coming into the back of the body, sides of the body. Really welcoming that sense of expansion and openness as you inhale, and then feel everything softening back to your center as you exhale. Beautiful. And then just lift your head, look forwards between your hands. We'll walk the hands back a little way so you can lift your chest and find your way onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread the hands nice and wide. Press into your hands as you inhale. Lift the head, lift the heart. Open up through the front of the body as you arch the back. Exhale as you round up like an angry cat. Sending the shoulder blades left to right. Inhale, rock forwards, open the heart. Exhale, we open up through the back of the body. Lovely, just once more. So try not to throw the head too far back as you inhale, so chin stays more or less level with the floor. Exhaling to round. Lovely. So coming to a nice tabletop position here. So just looking towards the top of your mat, pressing into the hands so you're not disappearing into your shoulders. And tuck the toes under. Hands stay where they are. And again, just shift the weight back towards your heels. So you should be getting a nice stretch through the feet. Again, you might want that little rock side to side. If it's really excruciating with your feet, then just flatten your feet. But it's so good to stretch out our feet. Now, if you can, we're going to keep the toes tucked under as you walk both hands over to the right side of your mat. Bring your left hand on top of your right hand, take an inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can slide the hands a little further over to the right as you allow your chest to sink down, dropping that left shoulder. So we're making a nice C shape through the body. If you can, the toes are still tucked, so we're still getting a little stretch out through the feet. Lovely. Let's lift the chest and bring the hands back through center. And then taking both hands over to the left side of your mat, right hand on top of left, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll sit the weight back towards your heels, sliding the hands a little further away from you, over to the left, dropping that right shoulder down. So again, we're balancing, breathing into the left, breathing into the right side of the body. Lovely. And then lifting the chest, bringing the hands back to the center of your mat, keeping the toes tucked as we come onto all fours, getting ready for downward dog. If you don't want to do downward dog, you can flatten your feet, you can do your cat-cows. But if you're joining me in downward dog, toes tucked, inhale as you arch the back, look forwards. And this time as you exhale, we'll begin that lift of the hips into a downward dog. Have a little pedal out through the feet, bending one knee. And then the other, matching that with your breath if you can. So it's a nice soft pedaling action. Little bend in the knees again, not kind of forcing the body to its edge today. So there's a softness in the elbows, maybe a little shake of the head to let the neck relax there. Lovely. Then popping a bend in the knees, see if you can wiggle the hips up and back a little further, lengthen that through the sides of the body as you press the hands forwards and down. And just take a couple of really steady breaths in that downward dog, feeling really grounded in your hands. Your heels might be sinking heavily towards the mat. They might be lifted. There might be a generous bend in your knees, just really accommodating any tightness in the body this morning. And as you look forwards between your hands, we'll walk forward, slowly walking one foot then the other, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat there. If you don't want to come into a forward fold this morning, feel free to lift your head, lift your heart, and rest your hands just on top of your knees. So you're coming into more of a supported position there. If you're okay to fold down, really pop a bend in the knees. You can cradle the elbows, hands clasping, and then very gently have a little sway side to side, if that feels nice. If not, just let the arms dangle in front of you, crown of the head dropping down. Generous bend in the knees really takes the sting out the hamstring and the low backs there. Lovely. If you're swaying, let the arms hang. And then keeping the arms hanging, keeping the chin tucked in, can you slowly begin to rebuild the spine as you roll your way up to stand? Keep that softness in the knees. Take your time. Chin stays tucked in. Head comes up last. Take a moment to get used to being upright. Let me just adjust the camera. And then we'll keep moving. As you inhale, we'll sweep the arms all the way out and up, bringing them to prayer above the head. And as you exhale, we'll bring the hands all the way down the midline, twice more. Might be a bend in the knees as you reach up, up, up on the inhale. And exhaling, drawing the hands all the way down. Lovely, just once more. So big circular movements, feminine energy associated with softness. Beautiful, so soft shapes this morning. Inhaling up. And this time as you exhale, hands come to heart. And we keep them traveling all the way down the body, back into our forward fold. Bringing the fingertips to find the floor or letting the arms hang. So you might need to generously bend the knees there. Lovely. So we'll take the hands over to the right side of your mat again. So if your hands aren't touching the floor, you can still take a little twist to the right and reach the fingertips energetically towards the floor there. Lovely. So getting a stretch through the left side of the body as you reach the arms over to the right. And then take a little semicircle, bringing the hands back to center and then walking the arms over to the left. We'll stretch through the right side of the body. Lovely. And then we'll come to center. Bring one hand and then the other just onto your knee. Keep the back rounded as you begin to straighten up, letting the hands slide up the legs as you rebuild the spine. Lovely. So we've just stretched out through the back of the body. So this time we'll stretch the front of the body as you bring the hands behind you. And options here, you can clasp opposite wrists, you can clasp opposite elbows, or some of you might be able to bring your fingertips together, sliding your fingertips up between your shoulder blades, coming into reverse prayer. That's really strong on the wrists, so entirely up to you. If you want to start there and then swap to a softer option, feel free. So we'll gently roll the shoulders back. Begin to press the hips just gently forward. So we're getting a stretch out through the hip flexors. You might lift your chin away from your chest. So front seam of the body, getting a nice stretch there. Lovely. We'll take one more nice inhale. And soften the shoulders as you exhale. Lovely. Release the hands. If you're in that reverse prayer, you might want a little turn of the wrist. It's tough on the wrists, that one. Beautiful. Then a little softness in the knees. We'll reach the right arm all the way up. And then taking it into a little side bend over to the left. And then sweep that right arm in front of the face as we come back to center. Left arm reaches up, comes all the way over into a little half moon stretch. And then we bring the arm in front of the face, little softness. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale into that side stretch, ending in that little sweep in front of the face. Other side, inhale, reach up. Exhale, over and across. One more each way. So it's a nice softness. So you might find that you're straightening your legs and then bending your knees. Oh, Mia, I wonder what the hell that was then. Yeah, left arm. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this time we'll bring both arms all the way up. See if you can bring the palms to touch, and then exhale, bringing the hands down to the heart. I told you he has fear of missing out, doesn't he? Making sure you're standing at the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands all the way through the center line of the body, back into that forward fold, bringing the hands down to the floor. Inhaling, sliding the hands up the legs so you can lift up halfway. And this time as you exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, we'll step back into your downward facing dog. Now you can either drop straight down onto all fours, take a child pose, or join me in a little squat position. So you turn your toes out and bring your heels together. Thank you, Nilu, as though you were Mary Poppins. And then walk your hands back towards your feet, bending your knees, lifting your heels until you end up just sitting on top of your heels like a little penguin there. Beautiful. So you might want to keep your fingertips on the floor. You might want to bring your hands onto your knees, seeing if you can lift your chest. You might feel really confident to come into a prayer position with the hands. Lovely. See if you can balance again, a great one for the feet. If you just take one more round of breath there, and inhale, lifting up a little higher. Lovely. And then we'll bring the fingertips down to the floor, turning the knees forwards, push the hips up towards the ceiling, coming into a forward fold there. And then from your forward fold, feet stay where they are. Walk your hands forwards, back into that downward dog. And then from your downward dog, we'll lower the knees, flatten the feet, and sit back on your heels in hero pose. Now, if hero pose doesn't work for you, again, you can pop some props between your bottom and your heels, or just pop your legs out in front of you. It really doesn't matter. We're going to do a lovely hand mudra here it's called Mothering Lotus, so I'll come a little closer. You're going to bring your hands into a little lotus position, so your thumbs and your little fingers are together. Your other fingers are splayed and open, and you bring your thumbs down to your heart, so you're kind of looking into that little chalice that you've made. Beautiful. So it's a lovely one for the wrists and the shoulders. So we'll roll the back of the hands together, fingertips point down, and then you reach the arms forwards, the back of the hands are together, and then fingertips point down as you bring the arms all the way back up into that little chalice. So fingertips point down as you roll the back of the hands away, straightening the arms, bending the elbows, fingertips come all the way back. Lovely. Inhale. And exhale. So you might just begin to speed that up a little bit. So it's a really good one to stretch out the wrists. Come back onto the mat. Let's do that a couple more times. And the next time you've got your hands in that little chalice, we'll pause and then bringing the palms together, coming into Namaste hands, sweep the arms all the way up, take an inhale. As you exhale, we're going to cactus the arms and twist to the right. Active twist, strong twist, opening up through the back. Inhale, reach up, come back to center. Exhale, cactus the arms, twist to the left. So you're really working the upper back there. One more each way. Inhale, reach up. And immediately you're meditating there. Like Buddha cat. Inhaling up, one more to the left. Beautiful. We'll come all the way back through center. And releasing the hands, we're going to lift up onto our knees, coming into standing kneeling there. We'll step the right foot forwards. So we're in a nice low lunge. Right foot comes forwards. Beautiful. Bring both hands onto your right thigh. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, imagine you want to push that right knee away from you and allow that left hip to sink down towards the floor a little ways. Lifting up through the chest. So you're pressing that right knee forwards, dropping into that left hip. Option to keep the hands resting on that right thigh or reach both arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Coming into a nice low lunge, you might even lift your chin away from your chest and take the gaze forwards and up a little bit. Nose, carving that line up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. And then slowly, we'll bring your right forearm to your right thigh and the left hand comes down to the inside of that right foot. We'll start to turn the chest towards the right and reach that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Option, tuck your back foot and lift the knee. So it's a strong, active pose there. Beautiful. We'll bring both hands down to frame the foot. Pick up that back knee if you've not already done so. And we're going to tuck your left knee behind your right foot. Left knee behind right foot. So we're in our little twist position. If it's too much to have that left knee bent, stretch the leg out in front of you. So making sure that you've got enough room for your bottom there. So move that left heel away from you. Give that right knee a little squeeze with your left elbow or hand. Inhale, right arm reaches up. And exhale, take that little twist to the right, bringing that right hand either behind you or resting it on your lower back. It's making sure that those postural muscles in the back are working there. You sit down there. Right knee. Beautiful. So we've got the right leg crossed over the left. Lovely. Slowly, slowly we'll come all the way back through center. We'll bring the legs together. So just uncross the legs, bringing the right knee on top of the left knee or slightly scissoring the legs. Right hand onto your right shin or thigh, like a little mermaid. And we'll reach the left arm all the way up and overhead, getting a nice stretch out through the side body. Option to stay there, or right hand comes to your left knee or thigh, and we start to turn the body towards the left. We're still reaching that right arm overhead, but we're just kind of adding a little twist, tucking your chin in towards your armpit there. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly we'll release. We'll bring the hands down. We'll come back onto all fours. So that's a little bit of a maneuver there as you come back onto all fours. And then lifting up into standing, kneeling, we'll step your left foot forwards this time into that lunge position. So left foot coming forwards. And just taking your feet apart so you feel nice and stable through your base. Both hands resting on your left thigh. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, imagine you want to push that left knee forwards and away, keeping the chest open. So the body isn't following it. You're almost leaning back a little ways, dropping into that right hip. Now if that feels nice, if you can, you're enjoying that sense of kind of using your hands to push the knee away from you, feel free to stay there. Or release the arms up. We're still dropping the hip forwards, we're still lifting the chest, and you might lift your gaze. So it's entirely up to how your back feels. Hands on the leg will offer a little bit more support, lovely. And then releasing, left forearm to left thigh, right hand to the floor. We'll start to turn the body towards the left and reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Coming into a nice twist there. Option to lift that back knee, making sure your bottom doesn't shoot up towards the ceiling, so hips stay nice and low there. Lovely. And then we'll bring the hands down. Pick up the back knee, and this time it's your right knee that you tuck just behind your left foot there. So we're in our little twist position. If you don't like having the underneath knee bent, stretch the right leg out in front of you. So have a little wiggle and a jiggle, get nice and even across your sit bones. And then this time it's your right hand or elbow that gives that knee a little squeeze. Left arm lifts as you inhale, big circle all the way back behind you. Fingertips to the floor. I always like to wrap my hand around my lower back there. So it just kind of forces me to use my back muscles a little more. Hey, Meanie. Hey, Meanie. What you doing? You're doing some yoga cat with me. Some yoga cat. Oh, lovely. Let's slowly, slowly release. Come back to center. And then we'll uncross the legs, stacking the knees or slightly scissoring them apart there. It's more comfortable sometimes to take them a little apart. Left hand to left shin. And we'll reach the right arm over into a nice side stretch there. Hey, Minnie. You a bit bored? Lovely. Option to stay there. Or that left hand this time comes across to right knee or thigh. So you're tucking your chin in towards your right armpit, reaching over but adding that little twist. Beautiful. Come all the way back through center. This time hands come to the floor. So you can just lean back into your hands and we'll take the legs out nice and wide. Oh, everyone's favourite pose. Now I like to lift my bottom and just drop my hips back a little way. So I'm almost tilting my pelvis forwards. If you've got your cushions or your blankets, you can always prop yourself up. Beautiful. Flex your feet, so toes point up towards the ceiling. Take a nice breath in as you reach the arms up, and as you exhale, bring the hands down in front of you. And if you've not got a furry friend in front of you, you might be able to take the body forwards into a forward fold. Thank you, Neely. Oh, okay, you're going to lie down there. That's really helpful. Thank you. And wash me. Lovely. Easing the body down. Keep those toes pointed up towards the ceiling. The toes tend to want to roll out to the side, so see if you can keep them pointed up towards the ceiling there. We're using a really useful position. Lovely. Then slowly, slowly we'll come all the way up to seated. And this time, if you've not got, again, a furry friend, we'll bring your right heel in towards you, keeping the left leg extended. Left hand on your left shin or thigh. Let's come over into a nice side stretch. So we slide that left hand down towards your foot. Some of you might be able to catch hold of your big toe and draw the body over. Some of you who want a much kind of softer stretch, you can wrap that top arm behind you. You can bend your elbow, rest your elbow on your left thigh, and just let your head rest on your stacked fist or in your hand there. So there's your nice kind of soft yinny, letting it go, stretch. If you want a little bit more this morning, you might tuck your chin in towards your armpit and reach that arm overhead. Lovely. Whatever we're doing, we'll take one more breath there. And then slowly, slowly make your way up. We'll bring the soles of the feet together, knees out nice and wide, sliding the hands down towards your ankles, sitting up nice and tall as we take cobbler's pose, a nice balanced pose after that asymmetrical twist, asymmetrical stretch. We'll take a nice inhale as you lift up nice and tall, and as you exhale, maybe use your elbows into your knees or your thighs as you gently elongate the body forwards, tucking your chin in towards your chest. Option to reach the arms out in front of you, coming onto those tented fingertips. So this time your back will round a little bit. Lovely, and then slowly, slowly we'll rebuild the spine, coming up to seated, left heel into groin and right leg extended out on the diagonal. Lovely, ready for that little side stretch. So right hand sliding down your shin, your thighs. Some of you might be able to hook your first two fingers around your big toe, and you might want to explore taking that top arm overhead, tucking your chin in towards your armpit. You want a softer expression, we wrap the hand around the low back, taking the gaze down towards the floor, and you can always again bend the elbow and just rest your head on that right fist or hand there, so the head is completely supported. So lots of choices there. You've got a slightly stronger, more masculine yang stretch with the arm overhead, or that softer version. Taking a couple more breaths there, whatever feels nice, whatever the body needs this morning. And then slowly, slowly we'll come all the way back up. This time soles of the feet together, but a softer expression of cobbler's pose. So rather than having the heels really close to you, you slide your feet further away from you. Even walk your hips back a little way. So you've got a big diamond shape between the legs. Slide the hands down towards the tops of the feet. Maybe wrap your hands around your feet and allow the body to melt forwards. And if it still feels a little bit strong, just walk your bum back away from your heels, deepening that angle at the back of the knees. Some of you might even want to thread your hands underneath the legs. So you wrap your hands under your ankles and wrap your hands around the tops of the feet. So the hands slide underneath to wrap around the tops of the feet. It's called tortoise pose. You can almost imagine that kind of retreating into your shell now. It's a lovely kind of introspective, safe pose there. And then very slowly, if you've got your hands threaded underneath your legs, unthread them so we can sit ourselves up nice and slowly, and we'll simply extend both legs out in front of you, keeping a little bend in the knees if you need to. Inhale as you reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, just take a gentle fold forwards. So again, if you want a really soft one today, you can always bend your knees completely, wrap the hands around the thighs, and you could even rest your head on your knees there. You want, again, that slightly stronger forward fold, the legs are outstretched, but we've still got that element of softness in the backs of the knees. The jaws relax, the face is soft, shoulders are soft. A couple more breaths there. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can walk your hands up your legs as you help yourself back up to seated. So bending the knees, we'll bring the feet to the floor. You can hold on behind your thighs. You can bring your hands down to the floor as you ease your way down onto your back, walking your heels quite close in towards your bottom there. So both knees are pointed up towards the ceiling. Press into your feet. Tuck your tailbone under, so feel your back flatten. The waistband of your trousers presses into the floor. Lovely. And from there, as you inhale, start to peel the rest of the spine off the floor, coming into a very gentle shoulder bridge. Keep that pelvis tucked under now as you exhale, and slowly wheel the spine all the way back down, relaxing the lower back, releasing the tailbone. So we'll start with that little pelvic tilt. So you press the weight into the waistband of your trousers, tailbone curls up, inhale, lift the hips, keeping the knees tracking forwards by pressing into the base of the big toe. Keep the tailbone tucked as you exhale, and roll the spine all the way back down, releasing the lower back, lengthening the tailbone once more. Pelvic tilt, tailbone curls up, inhale. So you're really helping to get that lovely work and stretch through the lower back there. Beautiful. And this time as you bring the hips down, we'll turn the palms up towards the ceiling, bringing the arms out level with the shoulders, widening your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, drop both knees over to the right and allow your chin to drop down to your left shoulder. So trying to release both knees down, you can bring your feet a little bit closer towards one another if that feels more comfortable on your hips. And if there's any problems with your knees, try flexing your feet quite strongly, just as we did when we were sitting cross-legged, because it helps your knees and your ankles stay in alignment there. Just a couple of easy breaths there in a nice open position, nice soft twist to finish. When you're ready to breathe in, bring the legs back to center, the head to center. Exhaling over to the left again, feet might stay flexed. I quite like keeping my feet flexed. It just gets into my outer hip as well, and just pull on my knees a little bit when I come into that wide position for a twist. So flexing my feet really kind of helps my knees there. A couple of easy breaths there, chest nice and open, palms up towards the ceiling. Lovely, and then slowly rolling across the back of the head to center. We'll walk the feet back in towards one another, bringing the knees in towards the chest. Having a little massage from side to side, across the tops of the buttocks, or taking the knees round in a gentle circle. Lovely. Squeezing the knees in towards your chest. When you've made a little bit of movement there, bringing the knees in, slide the shoulders away from the ears, inhale. And as you exhale, picking up head and shoulders, coming into a little ball there. So we're stretching out both the lower and the uppermost reaches of your spine. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, lower the hips, lower the head. And finding a position, if you're able to stay just for a few moments of relaxation. If you've got to shoot off, have a lovely weekend. Thank you for coming. If you're okay to stay with me just for a couple more minutes longer, then allow the body to settle into a comfy position. You can pop a jumper on or a blanket, putting again that prop underneath the back of your head or underneath your knees. Take a moment to arrange the body carefully. When we're trying to relax and allow the body to absorb the effects of our practice, if there's part of our body that's uncomfortable, it's a bit like having a wobbly tooth. Your attention kind of always goes to that. And so it is with a part of the body that's uncomfortable. Our mind will be fixated upon that rather than switching off. So taking a moment to settle into a comfortable position there, getting nice and comfortable, nice and rested. The arms might be, again, relaxed alongside you, palms gently turned up toward the ceiling in that gesture of receiving. So this is the ultimate in dropping out of doing and simply being. I think that's why we find this part of the class sometimes quite hard, because most of us spend most of our time doing. So giving yourself permission simply to be for the next couple of minutes. Nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to be doing, just for the moment. And beginning again that journey inward by focusing on your breath. Beginning again, if you can, to gently lengthen each component of your breath. Gently lengthening the inhale as you receive the breath. And as you release the exhale, allow the body to begin to surrender into the support of the floor beneath you. Letting go, letting go. Again, just bring your awareness to your face. The eyes are very gently closed. The brow is smooth. The jaw is soft, so you might just want to separate your teeth a little bit. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw, an area where so many of us hold on to tension. Allow the muscles in your neck to relax. Allow your shoulders to relax again. Responsibilities or burdens, just let them glide off the sides of the shoulders as you exhale. Allowing your upper back and your shoulders to relax, your chest to open. Relax your arms all the way down to your fingers. Soften the chest. Breathing into the breadth and the depth of the chest and the lungs. And then as you exhale, just feeling the chest completely relax, letting go. And softening the muscles around the stomach, lower belly. So when you exhale, it's no need to pull the belly button back towards the spine. We're just simply letting it be, gently moving with the breath. And at the front of your hips to relax, down into your legs, and into your feet. And as you begin to let yourself soften, allowing that sense of opening, almost vulnerability, gentle sense of surrender. As you allow the body to simply be. And just for the next couple of rounds of breath, just resting in that sensation of being at one with your breath. Really welcoming that sense of just slowing down, vital for our sense of well-being, the opportunity to switch off. knowing that you can linger in this state of relaxation, this kind of sense of being for as long as you like. Don't feel compelled to finish the class with me. We're going to end, but if you want to just end the class lying down on your back, feel free. You're ready to start to face the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend. Just begin by wiggling your fingers, moving your toes, maybe a gentle roll across the back of your head, side to side. And you might want to unfold the body if your knees are bent, coming into that lovely sense of space. Reaching the arms back, extending the legs, that full body stretch. You might want to turn the ankles, turn the wrists. And then just sliding your feet back in towards you and then giving both knees a squeeze. And again, sometimes it's nice to move, you can rock or simply linger in that state of stillness for a while longer. And then whether there's space to the right of you or the left of you, just roll over onto that side, knees drawn up towards your chest before coming up to a comfortable seated position. Coming into a comfortable seated position, finding an evenness across your sit bones. I've got to get me used to Troy in his box. Let's take the arms up towards the ceiling as you breathe in, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. As you exhale and drop the hands down to the heart, allow the chin to drop down towards your chest. And thanking one another for again joining together on another Friday morning. Thank you so much for coming along, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. So I don't know whether you can see Minu is now in his box. He's gone to his happy place. Oh my goodness.